All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about OpenArt AI, a platform that's making a serious name for itself as the perfect co-pilot for any creator trying to get into artificial intelligence art. So what's all the buzz about? What makes it a go-to tool? Well, we're going to find out.
You ever feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place with AI art? Yeah, me too. On one side, you've got these super simple one-click apps that feel more like a fun photo filter than a real creative tool. And on the other side, you've got these pro-level tools that feel like you need to be a coder just to get started. It's a really common frustration.
And this is exactly where OpenArt comes in. It's built on the incredibly powerful stable diffusion model, but its whole reason for being is to be that perfect middle ground. It gives you all this deep, fine-tuned control over your art, but it's all wrapped up in an interface that anyone can use. And let me say that again, absolutely no coding required.
So what kind of creative superpowers are we talking about here? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the toolkit OpenArt hands you. Okay, so you've got the basics you'd expect, right? Like turning text into an image or using a sketch to guide the AI. But the real magic, the stuff that gets exciting, is in the advanced features. You can actually train a custom model on your own art style or even your own face to create super consistent characters. You can use this amazing feature called ControlNet to perfectly copy a pose from a photo. And you can even edit or expand your images with in-painting, to fill in the gaps, and out-painting to make your whole scene bigger. It's the whole shebang, a complete creative arsenal. And this right here really lays out the key difference. You see, those simpler tools, they give you some preset styles and basic prompts, and that's about it. But with OpenArt, you're getting granular control, custom models, advanced settings. You basically have a much, much higher ceiling for what you can create.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. All that power, all those settings. It sounds kind of intimidating, right? Well, the actual process of making something is way more straightforward than you'd think.
It really just comes down to 4 simple steps. First, you pick a style, a model. There are literally thousands, from photorealistic to anime to anything in between. Second, you just write down what you want to see. That's your prompt. Third, you can tweak a few settings if you want. And fourth, you pick your favorite result and start refining it, maybe making some variations or bumping up the resolution. That's it. But here's the pro tip, the real secret sauce: mastering the prompt. Your main prompt, that tells the AI what you want. But just as important, maybe even more important, is the negative prompt. That's where you tell the AI what to avoid. This is your secret weapon to stop all those classic AI glitches. Blurry images, weird hands with extra fingers. This is how you guide it to a much cleaner, better result. Okay, so let's talk about the practical stuff. How much does all this creative power actually cost? Let's break down how OpenArt's pricing and their whole credit system works. So the great news is that OpenArt is actually super generous with its free plan. Just for signing up, you usually get a nice chunk of credits, like 50 to start. Plus, they give you more every single day. This is way more than enough to really play around and figure out if it's the right tool for you, all without spending a single dime. And when you're ready to upgrade, the plans are pretty easy to understand. The biggest jump, from free to the starter plan, is all about privacy. For about $6 a month, your creations become private. The next step up, the hobbyist plan, unlocks more features, and a big one is the ability to generate, not safe for work content, which we'll get to in just a second. Okay, stop. Before you get all excited and run off to start creating, there are 3 absolutely critical things you need to know. Seriously, this is the fine print that really, really matters. First thing, and it's the most important one, privacy. Let me be crystal clear. If you are on the free plan, every single thing you create is public. It's visible to the entire OpenArt community. So if you're working on, say, a logo for a secret business project or a personal portrait, you absolutely have to be on a paid plan to make it private. No exceptions. Second thing you need to know is the content policy. And this is a huge deal. Unlike the big names like Midjourney or Dolly, which have a total ban on any kind of adult content, OpenArt is, it's more permissive. If you're a paid user and you verify your age, you're allowed to generate NSFW content. For a lot of people, that is a massive differentiator. And finally, that brings us to the big, thorny, million-dollar question: ownership. The terms say you can use your creations for commercial projects. Awesome. But can you actually legally own it? Well, that's where things get really complicated. So here's the catch, and it's a big one. OpenArt gives you the right to sell your art,
use it in a book, whatever. But, and this is a huge but, current US law is pretty clear that art made entirely by an AI can't be copyrighted. So you end up in this really weird legal gray area. You can use it, you can sell it, but you have zero legal power to stop someone else from grabbing that exact same image and using it for their own stuff. You get usage rights, but not exclusive ownership.
And that leaves us with this fascinating and kind of huge question that really defines the entire world of AI art right now. Is the incredible, deep, granular creative control that a tool like OpenArt gives you, is that worth the trade-off of giving up that exclusive, legally protected ownership of whatever you create? The answer to that? Well, that could shape the whole future of digital art.